With ongoing complaints about an initiative from New York State Electric and Gas, NYSEG, meant to help manage customers' energy use, those smart meters. It was back in 2022 that NYSEG started rolling them out. The company said there would be many benefits to them, including real-time energy use data, plus fewer on-site readings for NYSEG workers. But last summer, we started getting bombarded with complaints from customers who said their gas and electric bills had skyrocketed. Now, many of those folks shared their stories with us, and we took the concerns directly to NYSEG. All these months later, it is still an issue for some. Here's what one told us earlier today.
And when I talked to the guy that came to the curb, he's like, "Oh, that's not bad. We got people paying $700, $800, $1,000. I'm like, okay, that's a lot of money.
Back in September, NYSEG had a town hall in Lancaster to answer customers' complaints. Now the company is having another such event in Niagara County next week. Patricia Nilsen is president and CEO of NYSEG, and she's here with us tonight. Thanks for coming in. Welcome back to Buffalo.
Thank you.
So here we are, quite a bit of time into the rollout of these smart meters, right? I know you're rolling it out in other parts of the state now, but a lot of Western New Yorkers have sort of gotten used to these. You have another town hall coming up that we'll talk about in a moment. But how are people responding to the smart meters now? Are people more receptive to them now that some time has passed?
Just like any change, there's a time when people have to get used to the change, and we're well into more than 1 million smart meters being installed and more than 1 million customers receiving bills from a smart meter. So for the most part, our customers are very used to it, and they're starting to see the benefits of it through the Energy Manager tool, where they can look at their energy usage an hour at a time, just days after it happens.
You've heard from customers who, will say, look, here's my bill before the smart meter, here's my bill after. Maybe their neighbor didn't do the smart meters, they opted out of them, and their bill didn't change. You've been asked this question 1 million times, but what do you tell the public for folks who watching right now are convinced my bill went up because of that meter?
Timing is everything, and we're doing the smart meter installations in the time of winter heating and summer cooling. Depending on when you get your smart meter, it may be the first time you're getting a bill based on an actual read in some time. But I encourage customers, if they have questions about their energy use either before or after the smart meter is installed, call us, reach out to us, come to one of our customer service community connection events, come to our smart meter open house next week, and we can talk to you about your individual account, but also the timing and looking at your prior bills and seeing whether you were having a lot of estimated reads, and then what was your energy use when that smart meter actually went into effect. For many of our customers, sometimes the smart meter installation moment is the first time they've really looked at their bills in a long time, and sometimes the first time you look at something, you may have questions. Come to us, we'll answer them.
I mentioned that some people have opted out of the meters. That obviously leads to a monthly fee.
Correct.
Do you know what percentage of folks, are most people taking the smart meters, or are a significant number of people sticking with the old system?
Most customers are taking the smart meter, and it's we have two types of opt-outs. The people who are opting out because they're choosing to opt out, and then people we haven't been able to get the installation because, say, the meter's inside the house and we need to make an appointment. So it's well under in the single digits percentage-wise, the people who are opting out. They tend to be more vocal, they'll talk about it more, but for most people, it's out of sight, out of mind, and accurate bills every month that are based on actual reads.
You said this just a moment ago, and I've heard you say this for months now, that when people have an issue, if they believe there is an issue with their bill, that they should reach out. What does that process actually look like? And what should people expect as they try to get answers on this?
So I was here when we had the open house in Lancaster. And
6 months ago.
Yep, and I've been to different pop-up customer events throughout the state, and for many of them, they're happening whether I'm there or not. But how it works is this. Call us, 1-800-572-1111. So reach out to us by phone and speak to our customer service reps. Come to our local office in Lockport, or or come to one of these pop-up events. At these events, we have customer reps sitting by. Rather than having a town hall where people come up to a mic, what we do is we have all of our people there, and folks can meet one-on-one with their bills, with somebody that's logged into our system, looking at the account right with them, as well as people around the room helping out with customer assistance. We have a lot of assistance programs if people are having trouble paying their bills, energy efficiency programs, smart meter experts that can talk about the installation and how the meter itself works. So it's either visit us, come to one of our events, or give us a call.
You mentioned the potential benefits of these smart meters. They basically give customers so much more data, data that was never accessible to them before, right? So it can perhaps change their habits in how they use energy. Are people embracing that? Do you have data on whether or not people are taking advantage of that potential?
I think people will start to. I don't have full data of whether people are changing their energy habits right away, but I do have data that over 700,000 customers have downloaded our app, and well over half 500 to 600,000 are looking at the Energy Manager. So they're at least starting to look at it, and hopefully that will lead people to making wiser energy decisions, or at least being better informed. What I say about the Energy Manager is, if you have a smart meter and Energy Manager, you can resolve that conflict at home of what happens if you turn out all the lights in the house, what happens if you turn off or unplug appliances that might be, with clocks that are slowly using energy, what happens if you flip the breaker. You can see immediately that impact with Energy Manager and solve a lot of disputes that might be happening with parents and kids with turn that light out.
Finally, there are people who are watching who are nervous about energy prices, considering the sort of trade war that we are now in with Canada. Ontario, the province, has made the threat that they could add an export tariff on energy that comes here to New York State. I know that's not really, NYSEG really doesn't have a huge role in that, right? It's managed at the state level by a public entity. But how are you viewing all of this? Are you worried we could see that?
Well, I'm first of all hoping that we continue to have, as we do in Buffalo, a tradition of welcoming our Canadian neighbors across the border. I've been seeing some things on social media where people are saying, thank you for making me feel welcome when I come to a game here in the Buffalo area, or I come to shop in the Buffalo area. As far as energy is concerned, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Right now, there's been a stand down in terms of any tariff impacts, and all of the utilities are working with the state and waiting to see the independent system operator, who's essentially the grid controller for the state, will be making a decision if tariffs have to happen, what we do with them.
And who actually could bear that additional cost?
Exactly.
We just don't know that yet.
Exactly, because for us, our customers, we're a delivery company. Supply costs are what are purchased on our customers' behalf. We make no profit on the supply. We simply pass the prices to our customers directly. So all of that is negotiated at a statewide level through the ISO.
Patricia Nilsen, President and CEO of NYSEG. Thanks for sharing some time with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for giving me the time.
We should point out that NYSEG Open House will be in Lockport in 6 days on Wednesday, March 26th from 4:30 to 6:30 in the evening at the Town Hall. It is 6560 Dysinger Road.